everybody. Welcome back. Another episode of the All Pro JAFFOs. It is Wednesday, February 8th, 2023. Highly elevated sports talk for a highly elevated sports fan. I'm your host, JP.
Hey, yo.
And with me, as always, the 6'10 Beast from the Southeast, Mr. Country K. And today, we got a little bit of basketball to talk about today. LeBron James, yesterday, broke the all-time scoring record in the NBA, passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, doing it in, at least the stat that I saw, doing it in about 150 games less than Kareem did it. I mean, a whole lot of arguments to be made. I've seen it on social media pretty much all day long. People comparing, the things that both LeBron and Kareem, what they did and everything like that. Uh, Thing is, Kareem didn't have the 3-point line. Uh, so people are making that argument. People are still putting the Michael Jordan, LeBron, greatest of all time, factors and everything is basically as soon as LeBron got the record, an entire shitstorm of who's better, who this, who that, LeBron hate, MJ hate, shit, all that kind of stuff just came out of the, well, I shouldn't say out of the woodwork. We probably all should have seen this coming. But nonetheless, LeBron gets it. 20 years in the career and finally gets the record. And then the very next day, Russell Westbrook gets traded. Everyone kind of thought that it was going to be Anthony Davis who was going to get traded after the little stunt that he pulled after or during the game yesterday. Um, Real quick, I kind of wanted to get Kay's opinion on it. Kay, did you see the video of basically how Anthony Davis took the whole thing? Kind of sat down, didn't really watch. He was behind, his teammates. He didn't really see the whole thing go in, but a lot of people were getting on AD's head for that. And a part of me, goes, oh, I guess you can kind of, give him some shit about it. But then another part of me goes, I mean, if it's not, he's more, maybe he was more focused on, the game and I have no idea. But Kay, when you saw this, what was your first reactions to it? Mhm.
So personally, I think I said this when they traded for AD. I don't have I have zero faith in AD as a person, as a basketball player. I wouldn't build a franchise around AD because he get hurt every 26 days. Um, so if yeah, no, go ahead, do your thing, go do it. No, so personally, I think AD. He should have got up. Look what if you're gonna basically go. If everybody's gonna go on the stigma that LeBron got AD, he's the full reason why AD is in Los Angeles. Then yeah, you could have still been in New Orleans, buddy. Like, I don't think you realize that. Like, you really could have been in New Orleans right now, and Zion would have been in New York. Just think about that. Brandon Ingram probably still been in LA. Like, granted, the Lakers just got D'Angelo Russell back, which I feel like that was the dumbest trade. Um, well, that was because of Russell and and Coach Ham explosion last night at halftime. So that was the full reason why he got traded so quickly. But yeah,
Oh, is that the I didn't even see what had
yeah, the
happened. I
report
saw
came.
on social media, I guess people were saying Russell was acting a fool, but I didn't see why.
Yeah, they said him and Coach Ham had got into it at halftime. Like, they were shouting at each other, yelling, stuff like that. The reporters hear that. All you gotta do is hear two different men voices. You can kind of distinct who it is. Russell got a pretty distinctive voice, and Coach Ham sound like Barry White's son. So you kind of figure you can figure it out. You know what I mean? Like,
Hey,
yeah,
I
so the
mean,
reporters are gonna put that out. But AD, yeah, now AD, I mean, his tampon probably would have fell out if he got up, bro. I'll be honest with you. I don't know.
He
I'm
probably
not
would have
built
rolled
like
his
an
ankle,
AD
try to
nigga.
celebrate.
He already rolled his ankle. He rolled his ankles sitting down. Like,
I mean, again, I had as soon as I saw it, I was just looking at it going. I mean, there were a lot of people going, "Oh man, oh AD must be jealous. He must be jealous of." I'm like, I don't know if jealousy factors into the whole thing. I mean, I don't play for the Lakers, so I don't see what happens in the locker room and everything else like that. Maybe AD is a little jealous about all the attention that LeBron gets or so. I have no idea what the situation is, to be honest. And to be completely honest, you kind of knew he was going to be getting all the interest and the love and everything else like that when you got onto the team. So it's kind of like, you went with LeBron to ring chase. Let's not say that that's not partially true. So to kind of, and like you said, the man is the reason why you're there in LA to begin with. At least show a little bit of love, when, he's going to break the record. Um, I mean, I don't know. Did Draymond keep his promise and not go to the game and ended up in LA? Did that happen? That didn't happen, huh?
oh, Draymond Green.
Yeah, I think he
He
said it
was at the
last year
game.
or something like that. He's like, I don't care, if we're playing that night. If I had to decide whether or not to see LeBron break the record or play that night, I would choose to go see LeBron break the record. Was there a Draymond sighting in LA last night? Because I didn't see it.
I didn't watch
I
the game, so I have no idea. I know he's on the floor right now playing in Portland. So
uh,
I don't know
well, I
about
mean,
tonight. If
and then I saw another
or
one. It said
off white or anything.
there was one picture of when uh I guess when either Kareem or like not when Kareem did it, but when I guess when Michael Jordan hit the game-winning shot against Utah for the sixth ring, and then it showed a picture of LeBron getting the all-time scoring record, and it said pre-phones and post-phones, and it's kind of like, oh, people don't know how to live in the moment anymore and everything else like that. But I was like, well, think about it this way. If cell phones and stuff like that were around as, technologically advanced as they are now back then, you probably would have had the same photo. I mean, let's just be honest. To see that, I was just kind of like, social media was just was set on fire. And then so far, I think it was FanDuel. They had put a post. It had a picture of Michael Jordan and LeBron James, and it said like for LeBron James and retweet for Michael Jordan. And these kind of questions and, like or retweet for this or that. I mean, Twitter has the ability to put a poll. When you do likes and retweets, you're kind of trying to set a certain narrative because we all know people are too lazy to do both. It's a lot easier to just like something than it is to full on retweet and do everything, even though it's literally a split second apart. So it's kind of so I put a poll up there on Twitter, and so far, let's see, what do we have here on Twitter for that poll? Da-da. All right, so far there's about 13 hours left on it, and you can go, like I said, it's on FanDuel, where I put this comment. So far, 65% to 35% Jordan over LeBron with 845 votes uh on there so far. And people are basically kind of making the same arguments that I've kind of made before. Um, with Michael being a better all around two-way player, whereas LeBron is predominantly an offensive player, even though and I say offensive player with, assists and along with the points. Um, he does have 5 first team all defense, but compared to Jordan's 9, and Jordan has a defensive player of the year. Jordan has way more scoring titles compared to LeBron.
All right, hold on.
And
Can I jump in on this one?
yeah.
Because I know you're going through the stats, but for me personally, I feel like when people start breaking stuff down like that, it's like you have to go to the numbers to be like, oh, it was all like this with Jordan and all that. You have to remember the teams LeBron had in his first stint in Cleveland. His best team, he has the Judas Ilgauskas and a 45-year-old Shaq. That was his best team in Cleveland outside of when he went to the finals and got swept by the Spurs. His starting 4-man was Darnell Marshall, bro. Exactly. No one remembers who that was. I felt bad for LeBron, bro.
I mean, but so I mean, shit, we're gonna get into it.
Hold on, we gotta stop this. What you say?
I need to hear it. What you say? What you say? What you say?
He said Darnell Marshall is the exact person LeBron needed. Somebody that just filled his role. Just you kick it to him in the corner, he does his job, which is correct. It's 100% correct.
That's what he
The
had Ray
problem
Allen
was,
for.
the problem was all 4 of those games LeBron got his ass whooped by himself. Him and Eric Snow was just out there by themselves. They got whooped by themselves. Larry Hughes disappeared. Marshall disappears. Judas
Oh, all
Ilgauskas,
4 of the games
he
against the
got a
Spurs.
clinic put on him by Tim Duncan. It was disgusting.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I
Anthony
remember that game.
Varejao at that time was young. He was coming off the bench. He was
Yeah,
getting clinic put on him
Verjao
by
was the 7th
who was
man.
their backup at the time? I forgot, but it don't matter. It was a clinic. Bruce Bowen was out there beating up everybody. It was ugly. It was ugly, bro.
But I mean, because I was just looking at it, they were also doing all the comparisons, and it said LeBron James has played with, I think it said 6 or 7 different All-Stars.
Yeah, all right. So here's my
And
problem.
then Jordan only having Scotty. The only
That's
All-Star that he
bull.
ever played with his entire career was Scotty.
That's bull for the simple fact of they making it seem like Dennis Rodman just wasn't that guy. They gonna sit here and say the only person he had was Scotty. So Dennis Rodman wasn't that guy.
Only All-Star, not only person, only All-Star.
Oh my God.
That's what they said.
So Dennis Rodman wasn't that guy.
I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just telling you, when you look at All-Stars, and which actually that stat actually surprised the shit out of me, going like, wait a minute, Dennis Rodman never made an All-Star game? Throughout his career, never made an All-Star game? That's a little weird.
Dude, no, not really. If you think about who was in the East with him,
That's also true.
Was at the 4. Alonzo Mourning was at the 5 or the 4 or something like that. I don't remember. But I mean, you had different people. You had different people at the 4 that was really good. Them boys just wasn't winning. Dennis Rodman was doing this thing. He's a Hall of Famer. So if you think about it, you got Kyrie, right? Kyrie's the second best player. I mean, besides Dwayne Wade, right? But I mean, Dwayne Wade gets the nod because of the rings, but honestly, talent-wise, I still feel like Kyrie's more talented than D-Wade. And D-Wade, I'm a D-Wade fan. You know what I mean? I still believe Kyrie got more talent than D-Wade. I just don't think Kyrie know how to play defense as good as D-Wade or to lead a team as well as D-Wade. So those are 2 major factors that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feel like, all right, so if you go there, you go D-Wade, Kyrie, Chris Bosh, and Shaq maybe, but Shaq was old. They just using that as a name at that point. You get what I'm saying? So it's like if you just go off of those 3, Kyrie, D-Wade, and who else did I say?
Say Bosh.
Bosh, yeah. Only reason I say Bosh because AD hurt all the goddamn time. You know what I'm saying? So, so you go with those 3 names. You go Jordan. You got Scottie Pippen. You got Dennis fucking Rodman, and let's just go Steve Kerr. those three names alone are already better than the three LeBron had. And those are LeBron's top three. Those are Jordan's top three. Oh, sorry. So that's all I'm
What
saying.
you wouldn't put Horace Grant up there?
I mean, yeah, but
I
Horace
think I
Grant
would put
played more.
Horace Grant above Steve Kerr, to be honest with you.
The reason why I say no on that because Steve Kerr was actually a guy with Mark Price in Cleveland. I mean, Horace Grant was decent in Orlando, but that's about it.
Well, fair enough. But then you got another thing that people are bringing up, and I'm just bringing devil's advocate questions to see what the response would be. Everywhere that LeBron went, essentially, I mean, I guess we minus his first stint in Cleveland because every time after that, it was pretty much a super team wherever LeBron went. He was recruiting his boys everywhere LeBron went. Michael Jordan was the opposite of that. He didn't want people to come with him. He didn't want to play. The only one that he had was Scotty, and he was already there by the time he came back from the first retirement.
And let's
And
let's
then they
go
got
let's go
Dennis
back to
Rodman, and
Jordan.
that was it. He would have rather played against the best players rather than to recruit them on the team. So I look at that going like, okay, well, there's a little bit of that dog mentality there. Going like, I would rather beat the best instead of playing with the best. Whereas LeBron was, I'm tired of losing in the finals, so I'm trying to get as many people on my team as I can so it doesn't happen like that again.
That's not a way to think about that. It's more the fact of I know how to get to the finals by myself. I know that I don't have enough to win. Why not take it from that perspective? The man taking the team by his goddamn self to the finals.
Uh,
Like if you taking a negative connotation and you don't like the person, then yeah, you would think, oh, you gotta. Not saying you, but I'm saying the universal you is just like, yeah, it's like, oh, you gotta get your buddies. But
Hold on.
when
Do you
Jordan
have
had
your finger over your speaker or something?
no, I have my AirPods in.
Oh, okay, because it muffles in and out sometimes.
Yeah, these joints probably about to die or something. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, if you just gonna continue to say negative connotation towards a man, it's like Jordan didn't win shit without Scotty, or you know what I mean? He didn't win a goddamn thing. Granted, granted, Scotty was drafted there, but I mean, Dennis wasn't. Dennis played in doggone Detroit, drafted there. I mean, he got picked up there, won
Yeah.
a ring there, and he ended up going there. So
And he was off the
I
bench in
mean,
Detroit, wasn't he?
yeah, he was behind John Sally and all them boys. And at the same time, it's like he ended up being a pivotal piece to that. But at the same time, it's like you have the players like Tony Kukoc, Steve Kerr. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Will Purdue. Like these are the guys that played their roles. Like, you know what I mean? Like, granted, back in those days, people was able to be physical, but it's like people don't realize that LeBron started in the league in the first half of his career. The first half of his career, he was basically playing in that type of league.
Hmm.
So,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
so then now, okay, so let's get into this question. LeBron has played 20 years, and Jordan only played 14. Now, people make the argument that if Jordan would have played for a full 20 years, you know, that record, because in 14 years before LeBron came around to even start contending for all of this, Michael Jordan was the number 3 over all-time scorer in 14 years. Now, it makes me think, all right, well, if Michael Jordan were to play the same amount of years, 20 years, and he was averaging for his entire career 30 points a game, I think right now, if Jordan were to have played those 6 years, LeBron would still be chasing the record because Michael Jordan would be up there number 1. That's my thought about the whole. But Michael Jordan was only He was there for the accomplishments, and he had basically in that 14-year span, he had already accomplished pretty much anything and everything that anybody could have ever wanted playing the game of basketball. Defensive Player of the Year, All NBA, MVPs, NBA Finals MVPs, 6 rings, no losses, a gold medal. He had done everything that you can do in basketball. He wasn't necessarily chasing records. He was chasing achievements, like actual physical hardware is what he was chasing. So that's where I go to think. And LeBron, averaging 27 his whole career in the 20 years. That's why I was just looking at it going, well, if Michael Jordan would have played 6 more years, could he have one broken the record, and would LeBron still be chasing it at this point if he had done that? Because I mean, being top 3 overall, playing 14 years, you played 6 years less than Kareem, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Karl Malone also played 16, 17 years as well. So he played less years, and he was already behind those 2 guys. So that's what makes me think, I think LeBron could have broken the record had he, or not LeBron, I think Michael Jordan could have broken the record had that been the mindset of, okay, I'm gonna start chasing like all-time numbers. Not just the hardware, but the numbers. I'm gonna go for the scoring, numbers. I'm gonna go for, all of this other, defensive player, numbers. He led the league in steals, 4 times, at one point. It's just, or at least that was early on in his career, but um people ask, who, and I saw it today, people were kind of like, "Oh, well, Michael Jordan was still the best scorer, like pure scorer out of the 2 of them." And I mean, when you look at the numbers back it up. But you got to look at era. You got to look at, because, and I know you make the argument, athleticism, today was way better and everything else like that, but I still happen to think that if Michael Jordan was playing in this era, he'd be averaging more than 30 points a game. He would be, there's a lot of like top basketball heads that think he'd be averaging 40 points a game. Because it's less defense, and like you had made a point off air earlier, that it was basically the league was altered for more fan experience, like for more offense.
Yeah,
You know,
they
the
took
fan
away the
experience and
defensive
everything else like that.
aspect, but that was more during LeBron's era and more during Kobe slash LeBron's era. My whole thing is that your first point, if Jordan took care of himself, he could have bagged those same amount of years LeBron played and done all of those things, but he did not take care of himself. That's first off. He embarrassed himself in Washington. Granted, he made those points. They did what they did, but it still was an embarrassment. So, uh, look, LeBron also passes the ball. People continue to forget the man. He does everything for all of the teams he plays on every time. Like this ain't just the whole thing. I really like I was not a big LeBron fan back in the day. I just like I said, after they lost to the Spurs, I really looked at it like this man really was out there doing everything. So that's when he gained my respect. Like that man was out there doing everything and they lost. Hey, let's see what he keep doing. You know what I mean? He gained my respect there, but it's like it's hard to compare because you still had those years where Jordan was on the Bulls and he was high flying and doing all that stuff and they was losing. I mean, I feel like really you should probably compare instead of the championship years, compare the years that Jordan did win to LeBron's years that he did win. That's probably what you should probably compare versus comparing championships and stuff like that. And then you can actually see what's really going on.
Are we talking about like the opponents, like who they played?
Nah, I'm talking about Jordan's numbers, his teammates' numbers, all of that stuff. You
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? Like all of that. How did they finish? How did they play? How did they go about it? And stuff like that. Because, like I said, LeBron went to the championship what, 10 years straight. Been in the league 20 years. So half his career, he's been in the final.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And that right there, it's like, all right, Jordan did well, but you had a Hall of Famer and Scottie Pippen doing his job. Had a Hall of Famer and Dennis Rodman doing his job, bro. Like, you gotta remember, Scotty had them rings too. Scotty got all six of them joints too.
no. Scotty
Oh,
only
he
has
got
three
five,
of them.
right?
Three. Scotty got there for the second three-peat. Scotty was drafted the
Scotty had.
year after Jordan retired. So Scotty only has three.
Yeah, I gotta look this up. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie to you. I thought this man had like, I thought he had five, but I went for a reach when I said six. How many? You said three? I don't think he got three, bro.
Yeah, he had the three for the three-peat. At best, Scotty was there for the third one of the first three-peat. And then, you know, when Michael retired and everything else like that, kind of, took reins and stuff like that of the team. But he didn't get the other three rings until Michael came back.
How many rings Scotty got? That's what I thought. It
Yeah,
says
Scott.
right here, bro, he got six.
Really? He was there the whole time?
He won all of them. Like that's what I thought too. Yeah, he was there the entire time, bro. Because
Really?
yeah, he was there. He was there the whole time, dog.
I was gonna say, I think The Last Dance lied to me because because when I
Yeah,
was
but
watching that shit, I was like, when they were talking
well,
about the
Rodman,
first
I think
three-peat with
Rodman was
Hort.
gone. He was gone. Yeah, yeah, bro. He was there the whole time, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Huh.
Like like Jordan had a running mate the entire time. LeBron
Huh.
didn't have Kyrie the entire time, and nor did he have D Wade the entire time.
Not the entire time, no, but he's had at least one really good player on his team for the majority of his career.
Michaels had a Hall of Famer for all of six of his rings.
Yeah.
All six. Like all six
One
of them, bro.
one Hall of Famer,
Like
two
people
Hall of Famers.
negate that fact. LeBron did not have a Scottie Pippen the entire time. If he did, do you not understand how many rings LeBron would have had? Like, think about it. People give Jordan all that credit. If he played in today, if LeBron would have had a Scottie Pippen this entire time,
I mean,
if LeBron, just think about it. Just go here.
no, I mean,
I'm trying to
I
pick one of the All Stars. Pick one of the All Stars that he's won with. AD, Kyrie, D Wade. Pick one.
I don't want to put AD on that list because when you
He's not
compare
no
him to
AD.
like either
AD
Scotty
was
or
a
Dennis
superstar.
Rodman, he ain't that.
It ain't about comparison to them. It's the current time in his game. He is a superstar. It ain't about comparing him to people that played in the 80s and 90s.
So I think if LeBron would have had, you know what? I think if LeBron would have had Wade his whole career, it'd be looking at something different. Maybe Kyrie because I mean, it gets to the point where the guy wants the ball in his hands more often than not. When he was there and with like he was still kind of fresh with the Cavaliers when LeBron got there, and then he wanted to be his own guy. He didn't want to be, you know, tagged as the Robin to LeBron's Batman. That's the reason why he left. So I think if Wade, because I mean, they're best friends. They loved playing with each other, and they were insane together in Miami. So I think if Wade was with LeBron the majority, well, not the majority, but his entire career, I mean, we might be talking about a whole different situation right now. I
Kyrie
don't
said
I don't I
himself.
don't think LeBron would have
Kyrie said
actually needed
himself that he
anybody
was
else.
young-minded. Kyrie said himself he was young-minded, and he apologized for all that. And he
Oh,
publicly
okay.
said that he was. He said
Well,
that like a
at
long
that
time ago.
time, yes.
Yeah, he said that a long time ago. Like he spoke on that. So I don't know, but yeah, we tried to cut this one shorter today.
Bro, you might have the worst Apple earbuds of all time.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay.
All
I'm gonna
right.
say you might want to talk into that one and then use the other
So
one to hear.
so what I said was Kyrie has admitted all this stuff. And
Oh, bro, you do have the worst ones of all time.
yeah, no, it's all good. All I'm saying is I mean, LeBron doesn't get much credit. That's just like the whole MO. He doesn't get much credit, and that's how it's been going. But
It's muffled like a
um,
motherfucker, bro. I'm sorry. I can't hear a word you're saying right now.
it's all good. So we, so yeah, I'm probably just gonna have to, you know what I mean? Probably just gonna have to cut this one shortly. Yeah.
That's no worries, no worries. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just the ongoing, thing. Obviously, who's the GOAT? I've always said, Kareem doesn't really get enough respect, especially all the accomplishments that man has. He has just as many rings as Jordan does, and more accomplishments than both LeBron and Michael Jordan. So it's just kind of one of those when you're really talking about who the greatest of all time is, what is your criteria? What is your personal criteria? For me, it's always been, clutch time situations in the finals, championship moments and everything else like that. What do you really, so the losses, especially early in LeBron's career, even losing with the Heat, losing with, a lot of these quote unquote super teams that he had, that to me, just me personally, that made it go like, all right. I mean, he's great. Don't get me wrong. He literally is one of the top three, top two players of all time. That's not up for debate. The debate for me becomes when it comes to accomplishments and, basically like losses in finals and stuff like that. That's my own I know a lot of people have a lot of different criterias. There are some people that I've seen on social media that have put, Kareem as the greatest of all time because of all of those accomplishments that he has. Um and they would be making a very valid point. But, again, it's really up to it's subjective. It's everybody's, own opinion of what they think. A lot of people, it's recency bias, with LeBron. A lot of people, who got to see Kareem play, or Bill Russell, got to see Michael throughout it's just a matter of what you saw and how you interpret it. Um, so regardless, congratulations to LeBron James being the all-time leading scorer. Uh, and we'll just see now how the rest of the year and see the rest of his career. How much is he going to add to that record? It was 39 years until that record was finally broken. It might be another 39 to 40 until it's broken again. We'll see. Real quick into the NFL Pro Bowl. Dead. I think the Pro Bowl should be done. It should be looked at as a, kind of like how the college All Americans and stuff like that, they just get named, preseason All American or, throughout the season All American. There's not really a bowl game for it or anything else like that, but you're labeled as an All American. That's what I think the Pro Bowl at this point should be, or just take away the Pro Bowl and then stick with the All Pros. Just stick with that number and everything because the game at this point is just, yeah, it's a little getaway and stuff like that for the players, but it's just not entertaining. The quarterbacks that they had in the Pro Bowl this year I looked at it, I'm like, this can't be the best quarterbacks of the entire league. The six best quarterbacks in the entire league were on the field in the Pro Bowl. No, that's not even close. Um, Kay's phone just died out, so we're gonna be cutting this one early. We did a poll. We did get asked a question, or we saw a question saying who is the best football player who never won a championship. And when we put that up, I mean, we said or I said Barry Sanders, and then I put a poll up for everybody else. I put Barry Sanders, Randy Moss, Dan Marino, or other, and leave a comment to see who it was. It was a really close, but out of 3,623 votes, Barry Sanders just edged it out at 33%. Randy Moss was at 29. Dan Marino was at 32 and 6% to the other. And a lot of people made the case of Jim Kelly. A lot of people made the case for Bruce Smith. Um, uh, uh, people had their own opinions on who should have been that guy, but um, some clown even said Rex Grossman for some odd reason. Um, but it is what it is. We're cutting it short today, for obvious reasons. Um, Super Bowl this Sunday, Friday. We've got one more podcast before Sunday's Super Bowl game. If you guys are in the area or you got nothing going on, 7777 Sunrise Boulevard, Mountain Mike's Pizza. That's where we will be for Super Bowl. We will be getting there about 2 o'clock. When the game starts at 3:30, we're going to try and maybe have a couple of trivia games, maybe have a little something before the game, maybe a little something at halftime as well. So if you're in the area or you just want to come in, have some pizza and beer, soda for the kids, of course, by all means, Mountain Mike's Pizza. Shout out to Dave and the crew out over there for having us once again this year. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us for this short time on this episode. We will see you guys on Friday. Stay tuned. You guys already know all the social media info. You see it right here: Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The All Pro JAFFOs, YouTube, and Facebook for Native Bros Productions. Go to PvP Studios on Twitch. We will be there too. Our reaction videos that we do, I think we're going to be doing that just on Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter from here on out, and then posting them later on YouTube. The last reaction that we just did got flagged, even though we've been doing it for a little while now. So it's better to just have all the copyright things and stuff like that put in and done while the video has been made post reactions. So we're just going to be doing the reactions this way on this day in sports history every single day from here on out. TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, everything. You guys, all that information. We've had some really, really good ones as well. So once again, social media handles, they're all there. Appreciate to all of our partners and sponsors on the show. You guys see them right there. And we will see you guys on Friday. For myself, for the 610B from the Southeast, Mr. Country K. For DJ Madsticks, who will be hopefully joining us on the show sometime soon. But in the end, we will see you guys on Friday. And then for those of you who will be with us on Sunday, we will see you guys then. All Pro Jaffos, highly elevated sports talk for the highly elevated sports fan. We'll see you guys on Friday. Deuces.